Are we live? I think we're live. Do I have any kale in my teeth? I just like scarfed my breakfast, so sorry I'm 3 minutes late. And I always got to get some greens in with my breakfast. So I had 2 poached eggs, a bunch of steamed kale, and 2 wheat veggie sausages. Delicious. And if you haven't tried poached eggs, you're missing out because they are bomb.com. Anyways, good morning. Happy Saturday. I'm so happy to spend the morning with you guys. And I think we're going to accomplish some really good stuff this morning. So the goal is to keep this within 2 hours. I actually have a potential client coming over right at the 2-hour mark, so I gotta wrap it up, make sure that we get it all fit in. So can you guys just say hi, tell us, I mean, you guys are all saying good morning, which is awesome. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, what's going on, what you're excited about for today, and then if you were on the last systems workshop, which I'm sure many of you were, tell us what you've implemented since then, like how it's been working for you, okay? Janae, what's up, girl? Representing Team Victory All-Stars from Anna Gray's team. So good to have you. So yeah, as I'm waiting for you guys to kind of chime in and chat, I just want to kind of give you a little intro into why we're doing this and why systems. You know, systems is such a weird word. When I worked at State Farm, there was a systems department, and that was like the big department within State Farm, and they got paid the most money, and they were all the computer geeks and nerds. And systems in that case meant like physical systems, like computer systems, all that stuff. But in our case, systems means processes, routines, rituals. What kind of systems can we create to make our business more efficient and more effective? I don't know about you guys. Well, I actually do know about you guys because you guys are just like me, except you have kids. You're busy and you have a ton of stuff going on. So, and you're super passionate about this, but there's also this whole thing called life and family, and you have to balance it all. So we have to create a way that you can work this business that's realistic, that works well for you, you know, but is also an efficient and effective way to grow your business. Because if you're not doing it consistently, if you're not building and having systems on a consistent basis and going through the routine and the rituals and all of the vital behaviors that it takes to build this business, you're not going to build a business. Okay, so it does take sacrifice, it does take time, but it doesn't have to take this crazy amount of sacrifice. It just takes being really organized and really system efficient, okay? So that's what I'm trying to help you guys create. And I really feel like I'm gonna continue to do this series and kind of do these calls over and over because I think it's really good to continue to reevaluate your systems. And as your business grows and as things change in your life, your systems will change also. Okay, so let's see what everybody has to say. Let's see. Janae, I implemented reminders for my posts in my calendar, and she says bomb, so that means it's working well. Megan says, I need to get myself organized and back on track, hoping to learn some new tools. Okay, good. I think you will, Megan. No worries there. Okay, so Tansy says, good morning. First time doing any type of these calls, looking forward to learning. What's up, girl? Tiffany says, I was on the last call and have shared and implement your post schedule. Looking forward to learning more about how to get organized with systems. I feel like I'm constantly a hamster on a wheel. You know what, though? That's not a bad thing because that's really what systems are. So whatever habits that we have now, that's just the current system that we're in. Okay, so when you have systems, you're going to feel like a hamster on a wheel because you're going to keep redoing them. You're just going to feel a little bit more confident because you know you're doing the right things. So right now, the system that you have is still a system. It's just probably not working very well, right? So let's see. Lyra, she's new. She's systems oriented, so I wanted to know more about what we all do so we can get better. Yeah, I think you'll do great on this. I'm super happy that you're systems oriented because so am I. And even if you're not, it's a learned skill. You know, it's just some of us have used more of that system mindset and mentality in our, you know, corporate or work life experience before this more than others, right? So we're all coming into this at different times and have different experience levels. Okay, so let's see. Renee is a Ruby coach wanting to learn more on how to lead others, and she needs systems. Christina set her business hours and power hour time. You go, girl. Sue, is that Sue Patterson? Sue, she has her coffee and she's ready to go. Let's see, is that Sue? It is. My mom's on scheduling my time and it makes a difference. Good. I'm glad that you have implemented that. That's fantastic. Susan, Instagram is growing every day. I'm posting 3 times a day. It's working. Very, very good. You guys are awesome. So, and Sybil says, so ready and excited for this morning's webinar. I'm a sponge for all the things systems. Awesome. Okay. I love all the comments, but I promise I won't read every single comment. I just like to see where you guys are at and what you're thinking. And that's such a key part of this platform is that comment chat box. Okay. So what I'm going to ask for you guys to do today is we're going to learn, but we're also going to work. I'm going to give you time to work on things so that you can implement. That's what a workshop is called. This is kind of like having a live event, such as the team retreat, and having live training, but we're doing it virtually. Okay, so we're doing it virtually, but I don't want you to just learn. I want you to walk away with tangible things completed. Okay, there's 39 of you on this call. And how many people registered? 150. So I give you guys kudos, give yourself on the back for investing in yourself and being here, because being on live, there's nothing like being on live. Okay. And I can tell when you're here live, it just lets me know that you are serious about your business, that you are ready to learn, ready to grow, ready to implement, and you're just ready to surround yourself with like-minded people. There's nothing like being on live and getting that interaction on the chat. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is you're going to learn, you're going to implement, we're going to work today, but I'm going to ask you to take it day by day after this. And I want you to make a pact with yourself, and I want it to be a challenge. So I want you to say, okay, I have this new system. I have this new outline of what I'm going to do with my Beachbody time. I'm going to challenge myself to do it 2 days in a row. And then I'm going to challenge myself to do it 3 days in a row. And then I'm going to challenge myself to do it 5 days in a row. And then if I can do it for, 6 days in a row, because I've decided to work my Beachbody business 6 out of 7 days. And let's say that I have a perfect week. I'm batting 1,000. I have a perfect week. I'm going to reward myself with something that you don't normally reward yourself with, like a manicure or a pedicure, or a new pair of workout shorts or pants, or a new workout tank, right? So make a challenge to yourself, or make a goal of how you want to, what the consistency is for yourself. Like what's the goal for you? So like for me, since I've been back from Belize, I've kind of reorganized what my morning routine looks like. And it's always ever evolving, but I've been batting probably like 990. I don't know. It's pretty close to 1,000. It hasn't been perfect, but it's pretty close. And I've been getting up every morning, doing my reading, doing a short yoga session, doing my affirmations, and then jumping on with the team to do the power hour. And it's been really, really great. And then right after that, we go and we work out, and it's been fantastic. And Adam and I both feel really good about the morning routine. So give yourself that goal. Make a game out of it and say, okay, I can get 2 days. Okay, I can get 3 days. Okay, I can get 4 days, right? See how long you can do it consistently. And if you fall off, then just get right back on. Talk to that person who you're committing this to, whether that's your upline, whether that's your success partner, who's going to keep you accountable to stay on this. Okay? You got to find that person who can keep you accountable, that when you fall off, you go to them and say, I fell off. But you have to say that to that person. You can't avoid them and just let it go. So many coaches avoid me because they're not doing the things they know they need to, and then they avoid me because they don't want to have that hard conversation. Have you done that? Are you guilty of that? Don't do that, because when you come to me, I know it's going to be a hard conversation, but it's going to be the inspiration you need to get right back on track. And ultimately, that's what we want. We need someone to keep us on track because, you know, let's face it, we are bred to have an employee mindset versus an entrepreneur mindset. And it's really hard to be an entrepreneur and to be self-motivated to do this work that's not really a job, right? So we have to have somebody to keep us accountable because we're so bred for that employee mindset. So whoever it is that you need to keep you accountable, whether that's me because I'm your direct upline, or it's your direct upline, or it's your success partner, please reach out and tell them what your plan is and that you're going to check in with them every day that you get it completed, okay? So again, treat this like a job. You are an entrepreneur, you are not an employee, right? So I found this really cool blog article about employee versus entrepreneur mindset, and I'm going to be doing a team call about it hopefully next week, just going over the different mindsets that you can have and helping you get your mind right to get onto that entrepreneur track, because the mindset is completely different than what we're bred to think and do. Okay, so a lot of us jumped on that call last night or yesterday afternoon with the Team Triceps Elite coaches, and we talked a lot about struggle, and that we all struggle no matter what part of this business that we're at, that there's constant struggle, and you just have to embrace and know that struggle is part of the process. But remember that when you are struggling, or when things are seeming to get out of control, you know, things get out of control when you don't track, when you're not paying close enough attention to them, when things are feeling like they're getting out of control. Like, let's say you're feeling like your contact list is out of control because you're not staying up to date on it. That's when you need to stop everything, and you need to refocus, and you need to reevaluate, and you need to create a new system and a new process to get yourself under control. Okay, Adam and I have had to make some really hard decisions with our business in the last couple days, and that was because things were starting to get a little bit out of control, and we had to put some checks and balances into place about what was happening. Okay, and those are not, it's never easy to do that, but you've got to put that mirror up. That's how we bring our business forward. So when you feel like that, you just have to stop and refocus and reevaluate. Okay, so the last time that we talked on the Systems Part 1 webinar, let's go over what we talked about. So whether you were on the call or not, I'm just going to briefly go over it. But we first went over your calendar, and really just sitting down and creating a Google Calendar that you live by, because if it's not on your calendar, it's not real, right? And we need to have that calendar to help us stay on track. So I'd love to ask, who is using their calendar religiously, like they are really using it? Or did you just make that calendar with pretty colors just because you were on the call and then you never used it? I want you to be really honest here. So chat me up, tell me what's going on with that calendar. On the calendar, we put in, you know, our priorities, our full-time job, family time, workout time, personal development time, and then we filled in a chunk for Beachbody time every day or every other day. That chunk of Beachbody time is what we are going to work on today, okay? So let's check the chat. What's going on? Oh, you guys are finding accountability partners. That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so Sarah is doing her calendar. Fantastic. Janae is doing her calendar. Dee is doing 75%. Okay, good. Working on it, getting there. Lana's using it 4 days a week. Sometimes my workout and kid time have to switch. Beachbody stays the same. Good, good. Susan is doing it. Good, awesome. Okay, so live and die by that calendar. And if you're one of those people that's like, I did it, but I haven't been following it, this is your time. Like, this is it. Like, stop waiting. What are you waiting for? What are you fearful of using that calendar? It's so crazy, but we fight ritual like crazy. We have this mentality that we want to be free and live wild. But you know what? We are so driven by ritual and routine. We just are. That's just human nature. So you've got to use the calendar and create the habit, create the ritual, create the routine. And I think that 21 days to create a habit, I think that's bullshit, because I think it takes 6 months to create a habit, especially when you're trying to break a bad one. Okay, so you have got to live and breathe by that calendar for a long time. How many of you follow the 21-day fix and you use the containers and then you're like, okay, I got this, I know, and then you stop using the containers and your results start to slowly dwindle? It's the same thing, okay? It is the same thing, okay? So we talked about calendar, and calendar is so important. We also talked about a social media game plan. So I helped you guys come up with posts that you should be putting out there every single day. And it wasn't, you know, a significant amount of posts. It was 1 to 2 posts per day, and it just helped you line up with what you wanted to be focusing on, right? And I gave you the post. You didn't have to follow what I gave you exactly, but it helped you create a roadmap for your social media. Who's using that plan? Are you guys using that? Is it working? Do you like it? Do you like having a plan for social media? Does it help? Okay. Yeah, Sarah's saying she fought her calendar so hard before. I fight it too. I really do. But when I do it, I feel so much more confident and so much more connected to my purpose and to my passion. Okay. I really do. Okay, so Sue's doing all the activities, but not always during the time on the calendar. She doesn't have a full-time or part-time job, right? So Sue, I think that it's even more important for you to have a calendar, because I think it's so hard to be a full-time Beachbody coach. It just is, because you have all the time in the world and all the freedom in the world. So it's even more important for us, in my opinion. Yeah, Shannon, there's no recording on the part 1. These live workshops, I leave up for 48 hours because I want to encourage people to be on live. So no, I do not have a recording of that, but I will do it again. I will do it again. Okay, good. Susan, your engagement has increased so much using your post suggestions. Awesome. Okay, cool, guys. So we also planned out, like I said, when we were doing our calendar, we set aside a chunk of time for Beachbody time, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So if you are not on part 1, it's no big deal. What we're going to do is we're going to take out that chunk of Beachbody time that you've scheduled throughout your week. So if you look at your week, Monday through Sunday, and we're just going to take 5 minutes right now. Everybody's going to take 5 minutes. We're going to look at our Google Calendar, and we're just going to say, do I have Beachbody time every day, or at least 5 to 6 times a day on my calendar? Whether it's 30 minutes, it's an hour, it's 3 hours. Everybody go look at their calendar. If you weren't on part 1, I want you to schedule it in right now. I want you to say, when is my Beachbody time? Okay, so go put that in. Chunk out your Beachbody time every single day. Okay, go. 5 minutes. And I'll play some music.
Life is an exciting surprise. Life is.
Okay, guys. So everybody good with their Beachbody time? We know when that chunk of time is, okay? So I just want to share with you what I do to really keep myself on track. I have a schedule for every day, and it's in the kitchen, and this has what we're doing all the time, every day. And Adam's like, oh God, this is a pretty tight schedule. But you know, it's not about being perfect on the schedule. It's just so that you stay on track, so that when you catch yourself just kind of lollygagging, especially those of us that do this full time, it's really easy to kind of just like lollygag, so you got to really stay tight on schedule. Okay, so you have your Beachbody time set aside. So let's dig into what we do, because there are so many things that you can do, but ultimately we have to focus on the simple things. We were on a call, the 5 stars and above were on a call with Carl on Thursday night, and he basically said we've got to go back to the basics. He's like, we're over complicating things, and we're doing all these Facebook ads, and we're doing all these opt-ins, and we're doing emails, and we're doing all this other stuff, right? There's all this stuff that we can be doing to build a business, but ultimately in our business there's one key thing that builds our business, and that is talking to people. Talking to people. I want you to write that in big, bold. Like, my #1 objective is to talk to people. That is it. Okay? Nothing can replace talking to people. Facebook ads can't. Automated emails, even though those are great, we still have to talk to people. We still have to build the relationship with people. Believe me, I have tried it all. And I always go back to talking to people, to building the relationship, to investing most of my time into the conversation with the people that I want to work with. Nothing can replace that, okay? Did you all write that in big, bold letters, talking to people? That's the #1 thing. So when we're looking at our Beachbody time, the #1 thing that you have to do is you have to invite and talk to people for your own personal business. Now, for those of you that have a team, for those of you that have coaches on your team that are building a business. Now, if you have discount coaches, I would consider discount coaches like challengers. Okay, so discount coaches are not building the business, so you don't really need to be working on team stuff with them. Discount coaches should be treated like challengers, because they're doing it to get results, and they're doing it just to get the discount. Okay, so if you have discount coaches, don't worry about any team stuff yet. But if you have people building a business and you're working to build your team and build the business, then you have some extra duties when it comes to your team. But 80% of your time, 80% of your time needs to be spent on your personal business inviting. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to come up with the total hours that you're working on Beachbody. So look at the calendar you just made and add up all the hours that you're working. So let's just say that the average person is going to work an hour a day in their Beachbody business, and they have a team. So that's 7 hours. So we take 7 times 0.8 because that's 80%. So 5.6 hours need to be spent on your personal business. That leaves an hour and a half to be spent with your team. Okay, so 5.5 hours on your personal business. That means talking to people and inviting and sending new messages and meeting new people. And then an hour and a half needs to be spent on your team. Okay. Yeah, so thank you, Becky. So Lyra, to explain a discount coach, people join as coaches just to save 25% on Shakeology or the program. So you'll get to this in Rock the Basics, but when somebody's like a loyal Shakeology customer for a couple months, we'll offer that to them like, hey, would you like to be a coach? And get the 25% off of your Shakeology because you're drinking it all the time. And discount coaches aren't going to increase your residual income because they're not building the business, but they are a great way to build rank and to just get a couple coaches under you and kind of get used to what it's like to sign up a coach and to start to have that coaching conversation. Okay. Ultimately, we're working towards getting people who are like us, who want to run with us and build this business with us. Okay. That we're taking under our wing and going beside us. Okay. And that takes time to really start to attract those people. You have to be really consistent and you have to show results and you have to talk to a lot of people. Okay. So I have been building this business for 4.5 years, and I would say that 95% of the coaches that I attract are coaches who want to build this business. I barely ever sign discount coaches anymore, but in the first 2-3 years of my business, I was signing a lot of discount coaches. So things evolve and change depending on where you are, depending on how long you've been here, depending on your success, depending on your consistency, right? Okay, so did we get that task? You take the full amount of hours that you're working on Beachbody and you times it, you hit times 0.8. That is your 80% that you should be working on your personal business if you have a team. If you don't have a team yet, if you don't have anybody working the business yet, 100% of your time is on your personal business. So like my girl Becky Miranda that's on, she has a team. She's a 1-star diamond coach. She has, team calls and trainings that she does for her team. She should be focusing 80% on her personal business and 20% on her team. Okay, so what does that equate to? So do that calculation real quick. I need to do that calculation. Okay, so everybody has their 80% or 100%. Okay, so now that you know where that is, if you are doing 80 and 20 because you have a team, I want you to quickly take a minute to split up when you're going to do team stuff and when you're going to do personal stuff. So maybe you work on team stuff 1 day a week. Maybe if you're dedicating 3 hours to team stuff in a week, you're working on team stuff twice a week or 3 times a week. So real quick, I want you to go ahead and split up that time really quick. Okay, Sybil asks, how many hours do most full-time coaches generally commit to their business? Or does it depend on goals? Yeah, that's a great question, and it totally does depend on goals. But like right now, I should know this, but I probably spend 35 hours a week building my business. So let's see, what does that come out to? That means that 28 hours should be spent on my personal recruiting, and I know that that's not where I do more 50-50, and I need to up my own personal invites. So that's a great question. But when I first went full-time, I was probably working 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. So that's almost 100 hours. I was working all the time, but that's just because I had really big goals. I mean, the first year I went full-time, I was going for top 10, and I ended at number 20, which was really awesome. And And that year propelled my whole business forward, and it just, I get paid back for that year all the time. So Stacy asks, would you include managing challenge groups? We're gonna talk about that, Stacy, but yes, challenge groups will be in your personal time. Yes. Coming up with posts. So coming up with posts, I'm not gonna talk about today because we went over that in the last, systems, but yes, I would consider that your personal time. Absolutely, great question. And really, in my opinion, when we have so much on our plate to do, that's why I gave you guys the outline of what you should post every week, and to have those drafted. So all you have to do is copy and paste and tweak a few things. Like I said, it does not matter if you post the same thing every week. It does not matter. People do not see it. And we have so much information flying at us, hitting us in the face, and we don't even see it. It slaps us in the face and we don't even see it. Example. Okay, I'm just going to go off on a tangent and vent for just 1 minute. We have a Team Triceps Summit group, and one of the girls in the group, Sarah Olson, was trying to get a pedal tavern going for Nashville. She explained everything, all of the information that one needs to know to sign up for the pedal tavern. Yet, there are a gazillion questions that are clearly answered in the post that she put up. Why? Because nobody takes the time to read, because we have this ADD syndrome of information, 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 and we forget to slow down, okay? So, so that's my little rant for just a second, but there's a point to this. I truly believe that you can post the same things every week, and it will take people 4 weeks to finally realize you're posting the same thing. It will take them 3 months to realize it. They need to see it 20 times for it to really sink in. You need to see that I meal prep every Sunday 20 times for you to be like, oh, maybe I should meal prep. Maybe I should meal prep, right? So I strongly believe that you should have a set amount of posts, set posts every day, every week that are already done, that you can copy and paste and tweak just a little bit each time, so that it doesn't take a lot of time. That's a system. And that's what we talked about last time. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Okay, Lyra, that's a whole nother question, but how did I balance my first year when I still had another full-time job? I found every nook and cranny that there was, in the morning, at my lunch break, when I got home. I just had a conversation with Adam, and I was just like, look, I'm going to do this. And he stayed busy with other things, and it wasn't a problem, So for you would just have a conversation, with your daughter, and just say, look, I want to build this because it's going to give us a better future. So having that conversation so that everybody's on board with the extra time that you're putting into something like this. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Stacy says, Saturday is now my team day and Sunday is my post prep day. That's a system. I love it, Stacy. That is perfect. I love that. Okay, cool. So let's see. Now that everybody has, if you have a team, you have your team set aside versus your personal business. They're separated. Cool? Okay, 80-20, 80-20. All right, so now we're going to focus on that personal time. So the 80%, this is what we're going to focus on. And the first thing that I have listed down is posting. So Stacy beat me to it. So you guys heard my spiel about posting, right? So on the last webinar, you created posts. If you have not yet created those posts, sit down and say to yourself, what should I be posting every single day? And I want you to say every single day, Monday morning, I'm posting this. Monday night, I'm posting this. Tuesday morning, I'm posting this. Tuesday night, I'm posting this. Wednesday morning, Wednesday night. Thursday morning, Thursday night. I want you to make a list, and I want you to create posts, generic ones that you can copy and paste and tweak. Also in those posts, you're creating hashtags. We talked all about that last time, okay? So if you were not on the call, I want you to do that outside of this call. And if you need help, post on the Team Triceps page, and I'd be happy to share with you what we talked about, but I'm not going to go through that now, okay? So I love what Stacy said, that on Saturdays, she's going to take an hour to go through those generic posts, and she's going to create them for the next week. That's a great idea. Or you can just have those generic posts done, and every time it's time to post, you just copy and paste and put it out there. Here's what I do for posting. I have a folder on my desk that's called Dailies, and in that folder is my calendar. It is my checklist for each day, because each day I do a different thing, and it also has my social media posting schedule. Okay, so Monday is my mindset day, and on Monday mornings I post a mindset quote. Monday nights I post a picture of myself in the entrepreneurship mindset. Okay, Tuesday's about food, Wednesday's about relationships, Thursdays are about travel, Friday is about fitness, Saturday is about self-love, and Sunday's about meal prep. That's just what I do, okay? What I gave you guys last time was different, right? So this is my Bible for every day. I check this every day because I'm like, okay, what do I have to post? And I have posts already done, so I just grab, copy, paste, tweak. Okay, it's easy. That's my system. So you have two choices when it comes to posting. You have drafts and a list already ready to go that you can tweak on the fly, or you can do what Stacy was doing and schedule an hour on the weekend to prepare your post for the upcoming week. Okay, so let's take 2 minutes to figure out what you're doing for posting. So get that in your calendar of your Beachbody time. 2 minutes. Okay, guys, we got that all figured out. We know when we're posting. Okay, so that's the first thing down. That's the first thing down as part of your personal time. Cool? Okay, so now the next thing that we need to do is we need to meet new people. So this is super important. And we meet new people. We can go out and meet new people. We can go on Facebook groups. We can go on Facebook like pages. We can go onto Instagram. Okay, so there's so many ways to meet new people. Okay, if you have a great way that you meet new people, I'd love for you to share here in the comments so other people we can get a conversation going about how we meet new people. But I'll tell you guys how I meet new people. Right now I'm meeting new people on Instagram. So I go to my new Instagram followers. I go to people who have liked my Instagram pictures, who are people that I really haven't connected with, or people who are not on the team. And I send them a message. Well, before I send them a message, I look at their profile and make sure that there's someone that I'd love to work with, and then I send them a message. Or I'm searching different hashtags, and I'm going out and I'm looking at these hashtags and I'm searching for people. Okay, so I'm searching for people with these hashtags and I'm getting to know them, and I'm looking for people who are like-minded, who I can connect with, and I'm sending them messages. Okay, so all of that takes time. Okay, so there's two different things that I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the search and the hunt for people, and then I'm talking about sending them a message. So we're not really on the sending the message part yet. What we're on is we're just on the search for them. So there should be a very distinct time in your business that you are looking for new people. Okay, so let's see here. I'm just trying to think how much time we should spend on looking for new people. Let me just do a little math here. So I would say 15% of your time should be spent meeting new people. Let's make it 20% of your time. So 20% of your time should be spent meeting new people. So what I want you to do is I want you to take that, whatever time you're spending on your personal Beachbody business, and I want you to times it by 0.2. So go ahead and do that. Times 0.2. Okay, so for me, I should be spending 4.5 hours-ish per week on meeting new people. That's a lot, and I'm definitely not spending that. So this is a really good reminder of how much time we invest in people. Okay, so 4.5 hours. Okay, so now that we have that set, we need to find where we put that into our time. So meeting new people, what I think is a really great way to do this, and Alexis Doss just talked about this on our team call on Tuesday. On Sunday, she does a little prep, and she spends 2 hours prepping who she's going to message on Instagram the next week. So she goes out on Sundays and she makes a list of 30 people that she's going to talk to. So she does the hunting and the finding and the searching in like a 2 to 3 hour span on a Sunday. Okay, and that's her time for meeting new people. Okay, so take a minute to find where you're going to spend that time meeting new people. Go. Let's do 2 minutes to put that in. Okay.
We are the power. We are the power. Let's create a world where it's safe to love each other. I am worth loving. I am good enough. I love this planet. I appreciate wants the best for her children and happy to provide. Everything is provided for our well-being.
Okay, guys, we got that in. So we know when we are meeting new people. Good, so that's scheduled and we are good to go. All right, so now we're gonna move on to our contact list. So when we're meeting new people and when we're about to message new people, there has to be a way that we're organizing these people. Because if you're thinking about it, if you're spending a couple hours a week meeting new people, this is a lot of people that you're going to have to track and to know. Because if we meet somebody and we don't write it down or put them on our contact list, how are we ever going to know to follow up? These people just fall through the cracks, right? And we have to remember when we're meeting people, we're doing it because we genuinely want to surround ourselves with like-minded people, and we're here to help others, okay? So we're not meeting people with this intent of selling them a challenge pack. Sure, we want to help them, and a challenge pack could help them. But that doesn't mean that that's the only reason why we're talking to them. I mean, when we're meeting new people and we're talking to them, we are building a relationship with people. We're finding out things about them. We're asking them a lot of questions. We're getting to know them because maybe possibly there's a way we can help them. Okay, for those of you that are brand new coaches and you have a warm market and you are talking to the people in your warm market, that's kind of like meeting new people in a way, because how many times are people in your warm market that you haven't talked to for years, right? So that's kind of like meeting new people, and I would consider that as part of the same category, just FYI, okay? So we need a contact list. That's the next thing on our list. And we have to spend every single day updating the contact list. I know it's a lot, but if you're not tracking and you're not organizing your contact list, it's not going to be good. So I want you to spend the same amount of time on your contact list, or I'm sorry, the same amount of time that you're spending on meeting new people as you spend on your contact list. So 20% of your time is spent organizing your contact list. Now remember, these are guesstimates, and as you kind of roll this out over the next couple weeks, and that may be too much time, you'll figure that out pretty quickly. But for now, I want you to schedule in 20% of your personal time is spent on organizing your contact list. And in my opinion, that should be every day. That should be part of your everyday beach body time, is organizing your contact list. Stacy says, do you separate Facebook and Instagram? I would not. I have one big contact list, and what I would do is I would just make a note of where they're from. So like if it's an Instagram person, I will write their handle, like their screen name. So if I'm talking to Sarah on Instagram, I will write her at Sarah, you know, whatever her Instagram name is, okay? And Sarah asks, do you track IG contacts the same as Facebook contacts? Yes, I would keep it as simple as possible for yourselves and have one contact list. Right now, I am not really working with anybody on Facebook. My main focus right now is Instagram, but that's because I've built my whole business using Facebook, and I've really just kind of exhausted a lot of my Facebook contacts, and I am right now not using Facebook ads. So I'm not using ads to build my contact list on Facebook, if that makes sense, okay? So everybody's in a different space, okay? Shannon says, I use Google Sheets, and you can link their name to their Facebook conversation and their IG page. And that's awesome. That's fantastic. Excuse me. I would use Google Sheets. So I would definitely use Google Sheets. I have a team call. Let me find it real quick. I have a team call all about your and how to split it up. And what I would do for your contact list, and I'll explain it briefly, is I would have an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets, right? Google has their own version of Excel, but you would have two tabs. You know how you can have two worksheets? So there's two tabs, and one tab is new contacts, and the other tab is follow-ups. So whenever you're out there searching for new people to get to know, or people that you've met at the grocery store, at your son's soccer game, or whatever, people that you met on Facebook, or a new friend that you just reconnected with on Facebook, and you know you want to get to know them better, you add them to your new contacts list. Okay. And then when you're going to send messages to new people, you take those people from the new contacts list and you move them over to follow-ups. Because a follow-up is, it doesn't mean that you're following up particularly about an invite, but a follow-up is just that you're continuing the conversation. You're still getting to know them. You're always checking in on that person, right? So you're continuing the conversation, whether the conversation is at the point of just getting to know, or it's at the point of, I've invited them to join my challenge group and they've said that they're thinking about it. Now I need to check in and see what they're thinking about, right? So whatever point you're at with that conversation, the follow-up is the same always. So it's new people and follow-ups to keep it really simple. Okay, some of you use Streak. I personally use Streak now, but I think sometimes Streak is a little overcomplicated for people. I think you could just use a simple Excel document. But let me find that call really quick on YouTube and get it for you guys. Hold on one second while I find this. Let's see. On my YouTube channel, I have playlists, and one of the playlists is Team Triceps Weekly Calls. So you can always, always go here and find lots and lots of stuff. But basically, this call is called Create a Killer Contact List System. So let me just share this. I'm going to share it over in the comments. But the call is called, if you ever want to search for it, Create a Killer Contact List. And just a little tip on YouTube, if you like a video on YouTube, if you click like, your YouTube will create a liked videos playlist. And so whenever I want to watch a video on YouTube and I don't want to lose it, I like it, because then it's on my liked videos playlist. Or if there's a video that I really do like and I know I'm going to want to share that video or reference it again, I like it because then it goes to my liked playlist. Okay. Okay, so Shannon says one of my columns I put is either add, in conversation, or follow up. This way I can sort depending on which group I want to focus on. Shannon, that is an awesome idea. Okay, and Stacy says that that contact list, that call that I shared, is the contact list that she's been using. It works really well. Awesome. Okay, Bree uses Streak and she loves it. Janae, you can also make a save for later playlist. Absolutely, you absolutely can. The like is just a nice way to support people that you're watching their videos, and also it's just easy to get it on that playlist. So, so we're good? So we're good. Contact list is important, guys. I say it as the number 2 thing because, well, number 3 thing. First was posting. Second was new people. 3 was contact list. You've got to have that contact list. Huge. Okay. Since we're kind of doing these percentages of time, if we go back to posting real quick, I would say 10% of your time should be spent on posting. 10%. 20% on new people. 20% on your contact list. Okay, next we have 2 more. 2 more. So the next one is new conversations. So new conversations should be really easy. New conversations should be super easy and they should go really quick. And we're going to talk about why they should go quick here in a minute. But new conversations should be fast and quick because you've already spent the time finding these people. Now you're just sending them a message. Hey girl, what's up? I found you on Instagram. I love your profile because da, 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 da. I love connecting with like-minded people. You know, and then ask them a question. I always ask a question because I want them to reply. Ask a question, right? So new combos should be easy, and we're going to talk about why they should be easy here in a little bit because we're going to talk about drafts. Okay, but new combos, you're spending 10% of your time on new conversations. New conversations do not have to happen every day. You could do new conversations twice a week. You could do new conversations once a week. Or you could say, I'm going to split up new conversations throughout my whole week. Whatever works for you, figure out what 10% of your time is for new conversations, go and implement. Okay, let's take 2 minutes to get that new conversation scheduled. Okay, guys, did we get that implemented? So you see how we're creating a schedule within our Beachbody time. So we're not just saying, hey, Monday I'm going to work my Beachbody business for 2 hours. We have a legit schedule of what that 2 hours is going to look like. Is yours shaping up well? Is it looking good? Are we filling that time in fast? Is the 20%, 10%, are the percentages helping to know how much time to spend on these things? Is that helping? Okay. One thing I want to say about the contact list is to not go back and try to recreate an entire contact list. Like if you're going to try a new system, just go with the new system and just start with where you're at. Start with the new people that you're meeting today and the new conversations that you're having today. I would not try to bring all of those old people in because that will happen over time because the conversations are going to continue, okay? Okay, good. I'm glad it's helping. Okay. Good, 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 good. Focused and intentional. That's what we're trying to do is be very focused, very, very intentional. Okay. So what I need your help with, you guys, if this is helpful, I need you to tell people to watch the recording. It is only up for 48 hours. I need you to brag on how much this has helped and what it's going to help you with on the team page, on your team page. Share this so that people can also benefit from it. It will only be up for 48 hours. Okay. All right, guys, so the next and final thing that you do in your personal time, is follow-ups. And like I said, a follow-up is not just a follow-up of following up after you've invited them to join your team or after you've invited them to a challenge group. A follow-up is literally just a check-in. So you could even call it a check-in. Maybe that's a better word for it, but check-ins. And you're just continuing the conversation with someone. You are, just seeing where they're at. Maybe they told you 2 months ago that they were pregnant and that maybe they'd want to do your challenge group after they had baby. So you've made a note of, okay, they're due on this date, but I still want to check in with her periodically about her pregnancy. So you're just checking in with her and it comes up on your check-in list for, May 21st. And you're like, oh, hey, Sarah, how are things going? How are you and baby? How are you feeling? Check in. It doesn't have to be a, hey, did you see my invite to my challenge group? Just checking in, making sure you saw it because we start on Monday. Right? They're both equally as important. Okay? Follow-ups are for anybody you have sent a new conversation to. So anybody you are having a conversation to, you need to check up or follow up, whatever you want to call it. Check in or follow up. Okay? So that is 30% of your time. So take what your personal time is, times it by 0.3, and go schedule that in for follow-ups or check-ins. Go do it. Let's take a couple minutes to do that. And if anybody has any questions about follow-ups, just post in the chat and I'll be happy to answer.
I support myself in feeling good. My happiness is an inside job. I choose the thoughts that make me feel happy and loved. I bring joy to my own heart. It's okay to be sad sometimes.
Okay, guys, I just realized that I messed up on some of the percentages. So let me just check the chat really quick. Okay, so let me just answer these questions. Okay, Jackie says, do you count returning messages in your follow-up section? Absolutely. Yes, because you're returning messages, that person, this is a great question, because let's say you're having, we're having a conversation and you have me listed in your follow-ups because you've already sent me a new message. So you've moved me from new people to check-ins or to follow-ups, whatever you're calling it. You move me over and you've set a date to make sure that you check in with me. Okay, so you set a date, you sent me a new message, you set a date to check in with me 2 days later. So you're gonna check in with me 2 days later. And if for whatever reason I reply to you before that, awesome. You just keep moving that date a little bit down so that you and I don't lose touch. You just wanna, it could just, the conversation could easily flow by itself, but the follow-up and the check-in is there just in case I, for whatever reason, stop responding to you because life got busy, or for whatever reason I went on vacation and you're like, hey, haven't heard from you for a while. Instead of just letting me drop off, like I've done a gazillion times because I don't track everybody that I've ever talked to, you're staying on top of that person. That's where they are in the follow-up section. So yes, returning messages are a big part of your follow-up. So we talk about this often when you're doing a power hour and when you're sending new conversations and you're doing your contact list, that stuff should happen first. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the flow of your Beachbody time. I'm going to write that down. We're going to talk about flow of Beachbody time here in a minute, okay? This is a great topic. Okay, Janae asks, how would you receive or revive a conversation when your follow-ups with someone have gone kind of dead? What I mean is when I always have a variety, hey, how are you, and lackluster response, I guess I end up feeling awkward and having no idea how to actually engage them in a meaningful conversation. That's a great question. And a lot of times I will go and I'll comment on their pictures. So I'll go and I'll engage on their pictures and kind of find something that we can build rapport with. And I engage on their pictures maybe a couple times that week, and then maybe I'll post on their picture and say, hey, I sent you a message, did you get it? Or I will respond back to their message about something particular that they posted that I was connecting with. But I'll give a shout out to Sarah Pollard, who's on the call, but she always says that if the conversation is just lackluster, that person is obviously not interested in chatting with you, and you just move on. Like there has to be a time and place when you just move on and remove them from your list. Like I will give you an example. Let me just give you a quick example because this will make you guys laugh. On Instagram, oh man, let me see if I can find this. I probably deleted it, honestly. I don't know if I can find my deleted inbox. I don't think you can. But this girl was an entrepreneur herself, and I reached out to her and I said, I love connecting with other entrepreneurs. Like, what do you do? And it was like one-word answer. And I kept like asking her questions, and I'd send emojis and smiley faces and exclamation points, and it was always like one or two answers. And then finally I was like, okay, like obviously this girl is not interested in talking to me. Done. And I moved on, and I closed her follow-up or her check-in because she wasn't interested in chatting with me. And so I got to move on and spend time with people who are interested in chatting. Okay. Okay. So like I was saying, I kind of messed up a little bit on the percentages because we do have one more thing that we need to add in here. So what I want you to do is I want you to add in challenge groups, because every single day we need to be checking in with our challenge groups. So I want you to rearrange some of the times that you have spent, and I want you to add in a little bit of time for challenge groups. Challenge groups are not that hard to post in, especially if you have something already written for your challenge group. So a lot of times what I will do is I will write out my challenge group posts for the entire 21 days. Or like Stacy Miller commented earlier, she uses the Beachbody challenge group guides. Okay, they give you all of the what to post in the group, and it actually works. You don't even have to spend time coming up with content. Some of us like to create our own content. Some of us don't know what content to use, so we can use the Beachbody Challenge group guides, okay? But one thing that I would like for you to do, and this is one thing that I've done many times, is depending on what kind of group it is, I have challenge group posts saved, so that I copy and paste and I put them in the group, okay? And I have different varieties of ones so that they're not the same every time. So if I have repeat people in my challenge groups, they're not seeing the same thing every time. I've got a couple different things in rotation, okay? So that's one thing that I want you to work on, is like a project, like an extra time thing, is creating drafts for your challenge groups. If you don't have time to do that, Beachbody has challenge group guides for you in the Coach Online office. You can also access those challenge group guides in the the portal, the challenge group tracker portal that you get to, that you use on your computer when you're the coach of a challenge group. So this new challenge tracker app on your phone that we're using for our challenge groups, who's using that, by the way? I've been using that and I love it. You can access your group by your app, but you get all the really good data and from the computer, okay? And I'm learning more and more about this every day, but you can get the challenge group guides on the computer. You can get the, you can post videos and pictures from there. You can post, you can check every one of your challengers, what their activity is, what their measurements, what their photos are, okay? Ashley, do you use Hootsuite or Buffer? I personally do not, but I think they are great. I think they're super great. Hootsuite and Buffer are scheduling apps. So they are services that you can use, that you can enter in all of your posts and you can get them in the challenge group. The reason why I don't personally use them is because when I do that, it makes me lazy, and then I tend to not check in on the group, excuse me, like I should. So I post them all live, but that's just my personal thing. I think they're great for new coaches who don't have a ton of time. I think it's great to Buffer that stuff or to Hootsuite that stuff, okay? So as far as posting, I want you guys to take, as far as challenge groups, I want you to take a minute to schedule time in your morning and evening to check in with your challenge groups, whether that means that you're posting or you're just checking in with the comments and engagement. So take time to tweak a few things to fit that in every single day, okay? I apologize for not adding that in. So let's take 5 minutes because it's going to take a little bit longer to move a few things around to fit that in. I mean, honestly, it should only take you, 15 minutes each time to do that, okay?
feeling good. My happiness is an inside job. I choose the friends that make me feel happy and loved. I bring joy to my own heart. It's okay to be sad sometimes. Sadness is just another feeling. Allow it to be and it passes away.
Okay, guys, we're just going to, let's talk real quick about the app because we got a lot of questions going on about that. Did everybody get their challenge groups scheduled in? I want to address one thing. Sybil said that I'm guilty of being too available to my challengers and checking in with them all day. It sucks my time away, and I find myself responding and helping them whenever they post. Okay, which I think is great. But like you said, you like the idea of scheduling time to check in with them. And this is what's so important about everything, and especially about what we are, because there's so much to do. We can get so sucked into checking in with our messages, with our texts, with our emails, with our groups. We've got to set time aside for messages. And I think we talked about that on the last one, but I set time aside for when I'm going to answer messages. Like, when do I answer my Facebook messages? And that's it. Like, I do it one time a day, because if I continually do it all day long, it just sucks up my time. And then when I get in the habit of checking it all the time, you know what happens is I'll check a message and then I won't have time to reply, and then I forget to reply and that message gets lost. So I have a very distinct time that I check messages every single day, and when I'm in there, I check them. And it's so funny because sometimes I'll reply right back to somebody because they're messaging me as I'm in my Facebook, and they're like, wow, that was really fast. I'm like, you got lucky because I was in here already checking. You messaged me at the right exact time. So I think when you're too available to people, that's what they expect, and that's what they come to always expect from you. So you definitely have to respect your own time so that people also respect your time too. And that's part of scheduling and making a ritual and a routine so that you're fitting all of this in, because it is a lot. Are you guys seeing how much work it takes? There's so many moving pieces to build this business. And I'm not saying that this system is perfect. It is not. It is far from perfect. There are probably a gazillion things that I'm missing here, but this is the basics. And this gives you an idea of how to schedule your time when you're working on Beachbody. Okay, as far as the Beachbody app, I totally understand. I think Stacy Miller has an awesome suggestion of using Facebook and the app, because the app is really cool for people to track, to say, yes, I got my workout and yes, I got my Shakeology, and then maybe they can comment and engage on the Facebook group. So for those of you that are struggling with the app, I think that's a really great solution to try both of those. Okay, and don't give up on the app just yet. I think it's just a new platform and everybody's just getting used to getting off Facebook. But let me be the first to say, I think people need to get off Facebook a little bit more. I think the Facebook addiction has gotten just a little too strong, in my opinion. So I don't think it's a bad thing to have people off of Facebook, because when they get on Facebook to check the groups, it's distracting, and in my personal opinion. And I catch myself, oh, I got to go to Facebook to grab a picture of this person, and 20 minutes later, I'm like, what am I doing? And I'm like scrolling the news feed, stalking all these people, and I'm like, what is going on? You guys can relate, right? So Facebook is definitely one of those tools that is the greatest strength and also the greatest weakness, okay? So got to be really intentional about our time on there, okay? So, yeah, and Sybil, you're right. I mean, especially with coaches, you know, like you can't be you can't be always answering people's messages at midnight, because then that's what they're always going to think that you're going to do. And you have to really be respectful with your time, and you have to be really open and honest and set that expectation. You know, all of my new PS coaches, they know that my time is valuable, and they're not going to ask me a question or reach out to me unless it's something important. And I always tell my coaches, like, I will always reach back. I will always reach back. I may reach back and say, hey, that's a great question for the team page, and try to retrain their brain to be resourceful. And it's not in a negative or mean way. It's just because that is a great question for the team page, because someone else probably has that question, and I'm sure you could find it without asking me personally, right? But I think I set the expectation from the beginning that that's what I expect for them to do versus always coming directly to me, right? Okay, that's a whole other call. Anyways, so we have a really good schedule here. Do you guys feel really good about this schedule? For those of you that are building your team, okay, for those of you that are building your team and you have time set aside for your team, what is included in that time? We're just going to go over these really quickly, and I'm going to have you schedule that time for your team after this call. But things that are going to happen with your team are one-on-one calls, creating training content. But I want you to be careful with that one, because creating training content can spiral out of control. Because a lot of us are teachers and we like to teach and we spend too much time on that. Use the content that Beachbody gives us. Use the content that I have in Team Triceps. I tend to spend way too much time here, okay? So be very careful with that. So one-on-ones, training content, and then also getting your coaches started right. So following my getting your coaches started right process, okay? Which I'm going to show you guys really quick here in a little bit about the getting coaches started right. But I want, before we move on, those are the 3 things that I want you to focus on when it comes to your team. Oh, another thing is checking your team page. So whether that is checking your personal team page or checking the Team Triceps team page or the Team Triceps Diamond team page if you're a Diamond, checking team pages is also very important. Cool? Let's talk about flow. Okay, so we have a certain amount of things that we're doing within our Beachbody time. Does everybody have a good feeling of what their chunk of Beachbody time looks like? Do we have like a nice, neat plan of action? Right? We are posting, we are meeting new people, we're updating our contact list, we're starting new conversations, we're doing follow-ups, and we're checking in with our challenge group. That is 6 things. What are the most important things? What do you need to do first? Okay, I want you to do first. Check in with your challenge group. Why? Because those challengers trust in you. They invested in you as your coach. They are your #1 priority. Check in with your challenge group. Number 2 is post. That's the second priority. You need to get that post out. A post is not going to get people to come to you. Sadly, we cannot just post and sell things. We have to build relationships with people behind the scenes. Like I said in the very beginning, there is no replacement for talking to people. You have to talk to people. You have to have conversations with people. There's so many coaches feel like they just want to post and people will come and they say, my business isn't growing. Well, it's because you're not having conversations. Okay, have the conversations. Okay, but posting is important, and it's the second thing on there because posting primes people for what you are doing. Okay, if you are having conversations behind the scenes, but you're not posting about anything you're doing, people are not going to connect the dots. The posting is the primer. Okay, when you're painting your house, the posting is the primer. It's what connects you two together, okay? Because they're watching you. They know what you're doing. You have to post. End of story. If you are not posting or you are not consistent with posting, that has to start being more consistent. That is your second priority. And if you don't have any challengers right now because you haven't been posting or sending messages, then posting is your #1 priority. Okay? Cool. the next priority is meeting new people. So priority number 3 is meeting new people. Priority number 4 is your contact list. Priority number 5 is new conversations, and priority number 6 is follow-ups. Okay, let's go over those one more time. I'm going to repeat. Priority number 1 is challenge groups. Priority number 2 is posting. Priority number 3 is meeting new people. Priority number 4 is your contact list. Priority number 5 is new conversations, and priority number 6 is follow-ups. Okay, so depending on what you have in that day. So let's just say that your day on Monday looks like challenge group, posting, because most of us are going to do those every single day, and meeting new people. Maybe you're meeting new people on Sunday. So maybe meeting new people isn't even a daily task for you. Then you would skip down to what's the next priority, which is having those new conversations. Did I say that right? It's challenge groups, posting, new people, contact list, new combos, and follow-ups. Okay, so if you are not meeting new people every day and you've scheduled in time once a week to meet new people, to update your contact list with new people, then the first thing that you do after you post and after you check your challenge group is you go to your contact list and you check your contact list, because that's the next priority. Okay, and you're updating that contact list, and then you're sending out new conversations with the new people that you just met. And then you go back to your contact list and you look at, who am I checking in with today? Who am I following up with today? How does that sound for a flow? There are no excuses to build this business. You guys can all do this. You can all do this. And remember, all 6 of these activities do not have to happen every day. And I hope I made that clear. Okay. So when we get off this call, I want you to just, look through this. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's take 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes, and I want you guys to rewrite your schedule Monday through Sunday, and I want you to put them in the priorities that I just gave you. Okay, let's take 10 minutes to rewrite the schedule and make the priority flow. Cool? Let's do it.
We are entitled to miracles. For some of us, it is a physical healing. For some of us, it is a healing of a family or a relationship. For some of us, it is creating peacefulness within ourselves. For some of us, it is creating prosperity. And for some of us, the miracle might just be being able to be with ourselves in a quiet space. Claim your miracle now. We are entitled to miracles. We are entitled to miracles. Now. We are entitled to miracles. Now. For some of us, it is a physical healing. For some of us, it is a healing of a family or a relationship. For some of us, it is creating peacefulness within ourselves. For some of us, it is creating prosperity. And for some of us, the miracle might just be being able to be with ourselves in a quiet space. Claim your miracle now.
Okay, the chat is so quiet. We all must be working so much. Okay, so did everybody reevaluate their plan, and they have now a priority flow. What's most important? What do I need to get done first? Do you feel good about this schedule? Do you feel good? Okay. So what we're going to do next is we are going to talk about, I have 20 minutes left. So we're going to talk about what to do if you have a team and you're building your team. So for those of you that don't have a team or are not building your team, I want you to jump off the call and I want you to just put in any more time right now that you need to focus on this, okay? Even if you're really tempted to stay on because you want to hear about the team stuff, I would say jump off and focus on what you've got here and just vibe on it for a little bit. Like look at it and let it soak in, okay? So for those of you that currently have a team that is working the business, I want you to stay on. If you do not currently have a team that is working the business, I want you to jump off and I want you to vibe on what you got. You guys have been incredible and working really hard, and we got so much accomplished today, and I'm so stoked and proud of you. Okay, so again, like I said, jump off if you do not have a team that is working this business. If you do have a team that's working, we're going to talk for 20 minutes about what to do in that team time, which probably 20 minutes isn't enough, but that's what we got. So we're going to at least go over it a little bit. Thanks, Lyra. Have an awesome weekend. Can't wait to chat with you one-on-one to hear how all this went. Let's see. Sybil, okay, so Sybil says it's interesting to me that the task that takes the biggest percentage of our time is last on the priority list. Sybil, that is because we have to prime people and we have to send messages out first, okay? So if we have a system and a list, it's not that it is last on the priority, but we're still getting it done. Okay, so you still have to have that system to get it done. It's just as important, but it does take the most time because the check-in and the follow-up list is incorporating everybody that you talk to. That's why it takes the most time. Thanks, Dee. Thanks so much. Bree, feeling more organized and excited to implement. Thanks, Gwen. Have a great weekend. Teensy, thank you. Have a great weekend. Ashley, Susan, you guys are amazing. Thanks so much for being on. Awesome. Okay, so let's jump in with the team stuff. For everybody that's left, we're going to jump in with the team stuff really quick, and we're just going to go over this. So you have a team of people that you're going to dedicate 20% of your Beachbody time to. So that is not a lot of time. So you need to ask yourself, what do I want to focus on with my team? Is there team training that I want to focus on? If there is, then we need to schedule that in. But I would really encourage you to use the team triceps training or to use the training that that is already available for you so that you're not recreating the wheel, especially if you're doing this still part-time. If you're a full-time coach, that's a little bit different and you can start implementing your own stuff with your team. But really the team training should be a really small percentage of that 20%, okay? You know, what else did I say? I think I said one-on-one calls. One-on-one calls are a big deal. They're really important. You can either choose to do one-on-one calls or group calls where you're grouping like-minded people together. I've done both and I enjoy both and I switch back and forth because I think there's good and bad things about certain ones, and I think it really depends on the season that your business is in and the season that we are all in. Like right now, everybody's kind of on a struggle bus a little bit. So I am going back to doing one-on-ones. Okay, so I'm reaching out to all of my team to schedule one-on-ones, to do more of a one-on-one coaching so that I can connect with them because we're all kind of struggling to connect and to make progress. Okay, so that's what's on my list to do, is to do one-on-one. So if one-on-ones are something that you feel passionate about, do one-on-ones. Or if you want to do group chats, a lot of people will have group chats, do that. Okay. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, I wanted to talk about new coach onboarding. So let's just pull this up really, really quick because the new coach onboarding process is super important, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys because I want you if you're struggling with getting your coaches to do anything, it's because you're not onboarding them correctly. You are not setting them up for success from the beginning. And that is such an important piece of the puzzle, is you have to get them started right. You have to invest in getting your coaches started right. They have invested in you, and you have to invest back in them. You cannot just have them sign up and just be nothing. You have to invest back into your coaches. End of story. Okay, so it's so easy to just sign them up and just, you know, throw them on the team page and let them do whatever, right? But I want you to use the Team Triceps, the new coach onboarding process. And if you haven't set this up, please set it up. I'm going to go through it really quickly again because we've had some issues with it, and people have asked a lot of questions. So let's go through it. I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. We are on the Team Triceps page right now. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Files section, and you are going to click on How to Get Your Coaches Started Right. Okay, right here. This is where you start. And basically what I'm asking you to do is I'm asking you to watch this YouTube video. And then here is the link to the Team Triceps resource folder. So this is where everything is for the system. Okay, so you need to copy this link and you need to get it into a new tab. So I have that up here. This is the team folder. Okay, and I'm logged in like as a different account so that you can see what it looks like from your point of view. So what, because if I was logged in as me, it would look a little bit different. So this is how it looks to you. So if you go into this new coaches getting started right folder, okay, this is what we're focusing on right here, getting started right. I was just in here this morning and everything was deleted. Everything was deleted, but that's why if we go back, I have a backup. So, and I also have these saved on my personal drive as well, that the team does not have access to. But people are going into here and they're thinking that when they click on these, that they're able to just edit. So here's what happens. I have this very outline for you. So start here. You click on this number 1 and you start here. Now, when you click on this little arrow right here, that's going to open it in Drive. But let me just make this very clear. If you're editing in here, you are editing the document that the entire team sees. Just FYI. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to close out of here. Instead of hitting this is a bad example. Let me open a different one. Instead of hitting that, oh, it's not working. I must not be logged in a different one. Anyways, when you open this, there is going to be a little Drive icon. You know what Drive looks like? Drive is that little triangle. There's a little Drive icon with a plus on it. When you hit that, that means add to my Drive. So you click that little icon. Is it under here? No. See, I have to log into Google to do this webinar, so I bet it changed. Oh yeah, see, it changed me. Yeah, that's all right. So that's why I wanted to be logged into a different account so I could show you. But there is a little Drive icon right here that has a plus. You click that and all of these documents will be saved onto your personal Drive. Then you can edit them. Cool? Capiche? We got that, okay? So here's the deal, guys. I want you to go through this and I want you to understand fully how to set up your new coach training. Okay, because this has been working so awesome for me. I have some new coaches that are killing it. A lot of them were on the call today. New coaches that have just signed up that are ready and have expectations set and know what it's going to take and are ready to jump in and are ready to hit Success Club and are ready to help people because of this training process. So I need you to get in and I need you to use this. I need you to spend time to get this implemented. Okay. One thing that we will be changing very soon, myself and the other 5 elite coaches, is we are going to be changing the, let me just stop. We're going to be changing the Rock the Basics and the team training site. So part of the getting started right process is getting people involved in Rock the Basics on the team training site. Okay, so the team training site is where they access Rock the Basics, and that's part of this whole process. But we're going to be changing that. So there's going to be more to come, and the process is going to be tweaked slightly in June. So make sure you keep an eye out for that document that we were just on, because I'm going to change it up slightly. okay? But, you know, really, there should not be a lot of time spent on your team because there's tons of resources. If you're setting them up properly and you're getting them going within the first month, and you're knowing where they're at in the process, you are going to be successful. They are going to be set up for success, and they are going to know to be resourceful. They are going to know to use the team training site. They are going to know what's going on, and you're going to have a closer relationship with them because they're willing and ready to work. Right? One thing that I do to track my new coaches and is I use Streak. So we talked a lot about Streak. You know, people talked about it for their contact list, but I have a Streak. They're called pipelines, and pipelines are just basically like different types of lists. But one of my pipelines is called new coaches, and I have every step of the new coach process, and I have where every coach is in that step, because I want to make sure that I'm checking in with them like, hey, you never filled out your discover your potential form. You and I are no longer texting back and forth until you fill that out. Okay, so there has to be that communication and that expectation set for them to complete these things. Okay, otherwise you are wasting your time. Okay, so people, you're investing in them, but they have to also invest back in this and back into you and back into this business. Correct? Okay, so I'm just going to check over on the chat to see. Okay, so this system is credible. Okay, well, okay, gotcha. Okay, good. So yeah, Shannon, this is for my team. So, but this is definitely something that I'd be willing to share. So if you want to send me a message, I'm more than willing to share this with you. I mean, it's totally wide open. So, I'll actually just copy the links right now. Let me just copy. Use this here. I'm going to send you the YouTube link, and I'll send you guys the access to the team folder. Just do me a favor and just please do not edit the documents in the team folder. Like I said, I logged in this morning and everything was deleted. Thank gosh I have backups. Cool. Yes, so the discover your potential. So if you guys go here, let me just pull this back up. So this is super easy, guys. So when you come here and you click on this Start Here folder, okay, number 3 is learn how to create Google Forms. Jump on this team call at 42. That's when I start sharing how to use the Google form. I actually have a call specifically to Google Forms that I need to update this with. But basically, it's showing you how to create a Google form, okay? So then what you do, it says questions, descriptions, and pictures for each of the forms you need to create are located in this same Team Triceps resource folder. Here's a direct link. So if you go here, this is where that direct link is. This is create your Google Forms. This is everything. I give you everything. And this is all the images for the forms. And this is every single one of the forms. This is the questions. This is everything that you need. This is like basically this is your roadmap. So Stacy, here's discover your potential form. Here's all the questions. Here's all this stuff, okay? Good? Makes sense? Okay, cool. Okay, so anybody that is not on the team, I posted links to the YouTube video explaining the process, and then also to the Team Triceps resource folder on Google Docs. You guys, my whole mentality is that if anybody can benefit from it, they can surely have the information. So that's why I invited people that are not on the team here on the call, because I mean, if you're willing to learn and you're willing to implement it, I mean, why not? So it's all yours to share and to use and to, you know, make a springboard off of. I mean, I know when I was building my business, I used systems and documents and things from other coaches who were, you know, generous to share all that stuff with us. So I'm more than open to share that stuff. So I think that's really it. Does anybody have any other questions for me before we go? We covered a lot. We covered a lot. So for those of you that have teams, you can take this system. I mean, obviously you want your team to get on this recorded call, you know, get on the recording, but I want you to take this system and I want you to to figure out a way to teach your team how to do this same thing. Maybe you focus on one specific thing, one of the 6 things that we do in our Beachbody time every week. Maybe you do a video about it on your team page, or maybe you're just walking your team through this, you know, in one-on-ones. I don't know, whatever it is, get them on this webinar, right? So you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here. This was incredible. Jessica asked, where are those links to use if you're not from the team? They're down in the chat, Jessica. So make sure you check the chat and do that fast because we're closing up. But the chat is still open even when I shut the broadcast down, as long as you keep the Webinar Jam link open. So make sure that you grab those links. You guys are amazing. And I hope you have a great weekend. And like I said to the people that jumped off who don't have teams, take the next 10 minutes that you had set aside for this webinar and just don't open your door. Don't get distracted right away. I just want you to sit and vibe on what you created today, and just think about how this is going to look, how your next week is going to look, how you're going to commit to this, because this is what is going to change your business. So thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. I hope you have a great weekend, and have a great one. And we'll see you soon. Okay. Bye guys. Take care.